Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews. Today, thanks to Infinity of Nashua, we have the 2020 Land Rover Range Rover Velar R Dynamic S. This is the P340. So what does that mean? This has the supercharged V6 pushing out 340 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque. Now, I've spent a lot of time in the Range Rover Sport with the supercharged V8. So as much as I love that motor, this car is just a little bit of a sweetheart as well. You do have a nice Velar badge. At night when you open the door, it's going to project some Range Rover Velar puddle lights down underneath. Let's see if this works with the car still on. Velar P340S. Oh, it looks like we have all of the luggage compartment stuff here. Some floor mats. Because we have the all-weather ones, so that looks like the spring ones. And of course you have this that can just simply retract like so. Actually, a ton of storage room in here. Of course, have power. This one hasn't been fully through the shop yet. We just took it in on trade a couple days ago, but I wanted to take a look at it first because I really couldn't wait. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull this a little bit forward. It's raining. There might be some fogginess of the camera right now. Don't worry, that's gonna go away pretty shortly. So obviously, we're white on white, full Miami spec. Now, everything is just a little bit to learn, but once you spend time with it, you are going to understand everything. For example, you have to push this, you have seat heating and seat cooling. That all goes from there. For your vent speed, oh, hello, no, I want nothing. For your fan speed, it's all controlled right there. Your front defrost, which is actually, if you can look very closely, you see lines through the windshield. So it's actually electric defrosting. I mean, in a Tesla, everything's electric defrosting because it's an electric motor. But this is actually heater coils that go down through the windshield. And they're not straight lines, they're kind of squiggle, so you can not even really notice them after you spend some time with it. Absolutely gorgeous panoramic roof. Got leather with suede bolsters. These here, nice little cubby tray, but I got coins. Well, the previous owner got coins stuck in here, so I have to figure out how to get those out. But, oh, that's probably not the... How on earth am I going to get all those coins out? Oh, okay. That's probably not good, but I'll figure out something. I'll figure it out. Make something work. Storage. Plenty of storage. This screen, you can adjust how much it tilts, but it does that essentially to not worry about sun reflection. You can also control your seat controls by hitting this, your climate, vehicle, your vehicle settings, air suspension. We're in dynamic. You can also go full sport, R dynamic on the gauge cluster. Without further ado, let's take this thing for a ride. Does use the ZF 8-speed. I don't know a car out there, or a car brand out there that doesn't use a ZF transmission in some part of its lineup, either now or in years past. This transmission's great. I actually have it in my car in a small variation. The thing I love about Jaguar Land Rover is the fact that these cars don't use turbos, except in the 4-cylinder, but whatever. They're supercharged. And, you know, turbos make easy power. Superchargers, you have to be making some power to really benefit from them. But the one thing with turbos is it kills the sound. Now, if you think about the change from Ferrari 458 to Ferrari 488, very similar motor, but the 488 employs turbos. And if you think about how different those two cars sound, you see one of the downsides of turbos. Yes, turbos do add, you know, some little whooshing and blow-off valve noises and a ton of power without sacrificing any output. Superchargers are run by the engine belts. So, how does that work? Well, essentially, the engine, as it spins, is going to spin the supercharger, which compresses the air, and that air is blown into the intake to essentially make have a higher concentration of air. It just makes a bigger boom. The exhaust spins a turbo, and that air. So they do very much the same thing. It's just very different how they go about it. But with a supercharger, you don't lose any of the engine note. In fact, you may actually gain some sounds, especially from the intake side of things. You're going to get a very nice intake whine. So what is that relay? Well, it makes this thing just that much better. If this had a Turbo 6, it'd still be fun, but it wouldn't have the character this thing has right now. Comparing it to the Range Rover Sport, this thing is way more nimble. It's a smaller car, it's lighter. Matter of fact, a V6 is going to be a little bit lighter than a V8. Obviously, you're missing 2 cylinders. So that means less weight over these front wheels. If this had a V8, the front end would probably not feel as nimble as it does. This car is very willing to turn in, very quick with responses. Obviously with superchargers, you really don't have that stereotypical turbo lag because it's all like that. Superchargers really help with torque down low. I must say, this thing is sensationally fun. I've spent the weekend with it. I love this car. Is it as roomy as the Range Rover Sport? No. Is it as fun to drive? Hell yeah. This thing's good. This is really, really good. I've driven one of these before. And it was probably about 2 years ago. And I remember how much I loved it. This is really good. And I don't know, I think 90% of why I love it is this powertrain. So once we start going electric, I think this car is going to lose a lot of its soul. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.